Yo, what is going on, everybody? Shri Kanase here. So how I get 5 times ROAS with Google Ads. Now, Google Ads has become one of the most talked about platforms simply because so many people aren't getting the desired results that they really want with Facebook, or they're just getting their ad account banned with Facebook. And this is causing a big surge of people to then come from Facebook onto Google. While this does definitely increase the amount of competition and the amount of dropshippers there are overall on the Google Ads platform, this does not mean that you cannot get enough profits from Google Ads. And like I'm about to show you in this video, I personally get on average 5 times return on ad spend with my Google Ads campaigns. Now, is this easy? Obviously not. There's a lot of work that goes into this. There's a lot of patience that is required. But if you are willing to be patient, if you're willing to put in the work, this video is going to be for you. But without wasting any more time, let's just jump right into it. The first thing you'll have to do in order to achieve such ROAS with your Google Ads campaigns is to destroy that like button until it turns blue. I promise it's going to take just 2 quick seconds. Okay, hopefully I've done that. Before we get into the Google Docs for this video, let's look at the actual campaign to look at the ROAS for this month. Now, when I'm recording this video, it is currently February 10th. And as you guys can see, so far for this month, we have spent roughly $4,402 on this account. Now, this is of course not a lot of money when it comes to spending with advertising. However, that's one beauty about Google, and that is you don't really need to be spending as much money with Google in order to get such results. But for this month itself, we can see that the ROAS is about 5.35. And just to show you guys this is 100% real, I just went ahead and refreshed this page. So once it gets fully loaded, you'll be able to see that the stats are the same for every single campaign and for the overall account in general. But definitely 5.0 return on ad spend just for this month, and that number is not just for this month. I recently released a video on how I did roughly $1 million in sales for the year of 2020 with Google Ads. I'll leave the link in the description below for that video. But overall, and I'll be showing you guys this as well on this ad account, the ROAS was about that for the entire year of 2020. Let's go ahead and scroll down just a bit until we look at the spend amount. So as you guys can see, $4,415 spent roughly for a 5.35 ROAS. Of course, this number is not right. And as I'm about to go on the Shopify store, you'll see that this ROAS is actually closer to a 7.0. So let's go ahead and go on over to the Order Metrics, which is an app which records all of the stats related to the Shopify store to look at the exact numbers. And of course, this is 99.9% Google Ads. So as you guys can see, for the month of February so far, from 1 to 10, we have done roughly $28,000 in sales. The cost of the goods are not entered fully yet, but overall we're looking at a profit of around $10,000 in net without the ad spend. And if we take out roughly $4,415, so about $5,000, that leaves us for a net profit of about $5,000 just within 10 days. So obviously this is a profitable store so far in this month. And this is the ROAS. As you guys saw, it is 28,000. So here on Google, it says only 23,000, which means not all the sales were recorded properly. But I don't want to just end this here. I want to also go ahead and look at last year's data to show you guys how this store did within the last year majorly. So if we look at all time, and this store was roughly started at the end of 2018. So basically at the start of 2019. And look at the overall ROAS, we can see that it was around 5.37. It cost me within the year about $183,000 for this ad account, and we did over $1 million in sales, which is of course above a 5.0 return on ad spend. But with what Google Ads recorded, it was a 5 ROAS. So as you guys can see clearly, with the Google Ads, it is definitely possible to achieve such results. I know it's really hard nowadays for a lot of people to even get their Google Ads account and their Merchant Center account approved, but not to worry. I've made a video on that as well recently, which you can check out on my channel. I'll also leave the link in the description for that video below. But now that we kind of went over the stats of this store, let's find out exactly how you can personally achieve such results. So let's start off by talking about the products, because in reality, product is king. I almost say this in every single video I make, but without the right products, you are just not going to be able to achieve such results. And with Google, there's a special kind of product required. It's not just any product that is useful, quirky, has a wow factor. like you would with Facebook. With the Google, here's the following criteria. Number one is that you want to be looking at products above $100 average order value. Now, I normally used to recommend that anything with $25 profits is a good enough product to sell, but the numbers that you just saw on my Google Ads account, I can almost guarantee you that I would not have been able to achieve such results if I did not have a lot of products on my store selling, which cost on average $150 or $250 or even $500 on my store, because it's really not that easy to achieve such results with low cost products. Not only do you have to sell much more in order to achieve the same amount of results, but you need to have more people dealing with customer service, because you'll have obviously more orders for that product to achieve these results, and you'll be spending a lot more money in order to get much lower return on ad spend compared to if you just sold a $100, $200, or even $500 product. So in my opinion, in 2021 and onwards, if you're really looking to scale your Google Ads store and your Shopify store in general to the next level, even with Facebook ads or any other advertising platform, high average order value is the way to go. Now, this is not rocket science. You simply have to put just a little bit extra work into the descriptions, make sure the images are high quality. It doesn't really take extra effort to sell a $100 product compared to a $10 product. So all you really need to do is just focus a little bit more on the descriptions and titles. But another thing with the products themselves is that you want to be sourcing them from eBay or other US sourcing websites, or use special agents for that. You do not want to be relying on AliExpress in 2021 and onwards, especially for expensive products. Now, in my own experience, since I've sold a lot of expensive products on my store, a lot of them sourced from eBay as well as AliExpress, I can almost guarantee you that you're going to get a supplier on AliExpress where they're just not being honest with you. They're providing you fake tracking numbers, product quality is very bad, or they're not even sending out the products. And this leads to a lot of issues, especially if it's an expensive product. You have to deal with a lot of returns and refunds. Now, a lot of people ask me why my refund rate for this store is so high. With about $1.1 million in sales, I did refund about $250,000, so about $250,000. Number one, that was because of what was going on in the world in 2020 and because of slow shipping times. But also number two, the product cost was extremely high for the products that I was selling. And even though the returns and refunds weren't that high, the average order value was high, and because of that, the amount became very big. Had I just from the beginning sourced from eBay or other US sourcing websites like Walmart, Target, etc., I would not really have needed to refund that much of the money, and I could have kept more. But in 2021, that is my main goal for this store: source as many products from the US as possible, and it is definitely possible to do this. Again, tons of videos on that on my channel. You can find them below. But in addition to sourcing from the US, you want to find products with low handling times. A lot of the times, if it's some sort of product, which I'm about to mention here, such as fragile items or items that are special edition, which require custom designs or custom creations, or heavy items have high handling times, meaning 5, 10, 15 business days. And we don't really want to be selling those kinds of products, because not only is it really not safe to sell those products, but also the high handling times makes people not want to wait that much. It leads to much higher returns, refunds, disputes, etc. So in order to kind of keep your business running smoothly, you want to stay away from these kinds of items. But just selling the items is not enough. You have to find a supplier which is trustworthy of you sourcing that product from that supplier. So in my experience, what I've always noticed is that the number 95 is the way to go. Now, what do I mean by this exactly? No matter if you're trying to source from AliExpress, eBay, Amazon, whatever, make sure that they have at least 95% positive feedback, no matter the platform. This is just a number which below this number, I start to see a lot of sketchy suppliers. Above this number is where the real suppliers who really care about you are. So you want to stay with those suppliers which have 95% or more feedback and have been in business for at least a year, because without these numbers, you're just putting your money on stake and you put yourself at a high risk of getting scammed. So make sure that you are using a trustworthy supplier, and this doesn't matter whether it's from eBay or a US website or a Chinese agent. Make sure to always ask them for proof that they are really shipping out their items. But this brings me to the ad section. What should you be doing when it comes to the actual ads? Now, with ads, you want to understand one thing, and this thing, if you don't get anything else from this video but just get this, make sure it is this portion. That is, CTR is king. Without click-through rate, you are just not going to have profitable ads, and I've personally noticed this on my own ad account. When my CTR rate started to dip, that is when my profitability also started to dip, and this was kind of connected to the CPC as well, because as CTR goes up, CPC goes down because more people are clicking on your ads, And Google deems that your ads are very, very good because so many people are clicking on it, and they start charging you less and less per click, which is exactly what you want, because then you're getting more people on your website. If you get more people that are real high quality people, they're much more likely to purchase from you. So you're basically doubling your chances of getting sales. And a good CTR is anything at or around 1%. If your overall CTR for the entire campaign is at or below 1%, you want to really be optimizing the campaign. Again, watch my videos on that, but make sure your products have high CTRs, make sure you're getting rid of the bad products, unprofitable products, etc., and try to aim at getting that number close to a 1%. But along with CTR, make sure you're using a mix of smart and standard shopping campaigns. That is exactly what I do here with this ad account. Now, one thing that I want to state regarding scaling individual campaigns and individual products is that they're really not as effective anymore. So I'm going to go on to my Google Ads account to give you a clear example of what I mean. So what I want to show you guys is, first of all, why they're not really that profitable. The number one thing is that these campaigns, standalone campaigns as I like to call them, have a lower spend overall. Now, this is simply because that is the only product within that campaign. The searches go up and down every single day, every single minute for that campaign. So you can't really be expecting the same results every single day. Unless your product has really, really high search volume, there are going to be days where it's barely spending any money, and overall it's just a lower spend in total. But in addition, what I've noticed a lot of the times is that these campaigns end up being unprofitable for about 70% to 80% of the product. Now, this does not mean that a standalone campaign is unprofitable for every single product. There are, of course, a lot of products out there which I've personally scaled very, very well with standalone campaigns. But overall, I've noticed that they do take a big dip when it comes to getting the actual results. And I'm going to be showing you guys some examples right over here. So looking at the bottom campaigns, these are all standalone campaigns right now. The ones at the top are all either smart shopping or standard shopping. But looking at this campaign, for example, this month I only spent $50, even though the budget is $25 a day. It got me one sale and the ROAS is about 1.57, so not that great. Second campaign over here is run at $50 a day. As you guys can see, it's barely spent $17 this month, even though the bid is exactly the same bid which was chosen from our general testing campaign, and it got us only 2 sales so far, which is again not that great, but 3.86 ROAS. Now, this third campaign is actually a searched campaign for my store's name, and as you guys can see, this got a 22 times return on ad spend, so this doesn't really count as a standalone campaign. But the fourth campaign here spent $14 only, 0 sales so far. Again, another standalone campaign. And the thing about these products right here, which I'm currently scaling, these products were really killing it with the general testing campaigns, getting a much more sales than this every single day. That too, in fact, some of these were getting 2 to 5 sales every single day, but when I tried to scale them, they obviously did not work. So this is what I mean when it comes to the standalone campaigns as not being as effective anymore in 2021 and onwards. But that brings me to the next point, and that is fluctuations. Now, with Google Ads, a lot of people think that since it's such a profitable campaign, much better than Facebook, you should be profitable every single day, and that is far from the truth. There's a lot of things that come into play when it comes to Google Ads or just any advertising platform in general: seasons, events, the economy, what's going on in the world. For this ad account and this store, I was actually at a very, very little profit, about 5% profit in the month of January, and the ROAS was barely at a 3.0, and that is simply because New Year had just began, and in January, people don't really have that much to spend. They're kind of just anticipating where the year is going, how it's going to be, etc., and that is what leads to an overall lower sales amount. But as soon as February started, people really got their paychecks, they knew what was going on. That's when search volume and overall traffic increased. So you want to always take that into account as well when making your decisions. But you can't always just rely on the fluctuations and say that because of the events going on in the world or season that your ads are not performing, because you also want to be taking an active role in your campaigns, and this is done via optimization. So with optimization, there are several things you can do. The first thing is ad optimization, meaning optimizing your Google shopping campaigns. What I recommend you do with this is that you optimize them every 7 to 14 days, preferably closer to the 14-day range. And again, I'm not really going to go in depth into that in this video because I've made videos on that, which you can check out on my channel, but try to optimize your campaigns every 14 days. The more time you give Google after optimizing to run and properly work, the better the results are going to be. And before, I used to really recommend optimizing every 3 to 7 days. I don't do that personally. I don't recommend that anymore. So stay closer to the 14th day time range. But in addition, you want to be optimizing the Shopify feed. If you use SimProcess, this becomes very easy. Simply choose a Google product category for that product and do the optimization that way. In addition, you want to be optimizing the product page itself. So go on your Shopify dashboard, choose an individual product, and then optimize it there. Maybe add some tags, maybe add a product type, etc., and go from there. But this was a general guide on how I personally achieve 5 times return on ad spend and how you can implement the same steps to achieve similar results. If you found any type of value in this video, smash that like button and smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.